Okay. So I was asked to give a little overview, so actually not overview, but like some background insight to the booklet that we just recently distributed at the Kinnes HaShluchis, and the first version of it, the early version that was distributed at the Kinnes HaShluchim. This is the booklet about Leben mit Moshiach b'chol asher tasa. The idea was that the theme of the Kinnes HaShluchim b'shaitai was that Medaf Makabel Zayin Pnei Moshiach. And the discussion among the Minatzchim here was, how can we give specific and direct guidance on how to live in a way that's Mekabel Pnei Moshiach? And the Rebbe did make very clear that part of what he meant by Kabbalah's Pnei Moshiach meant to Leben mit Moshiach. Not just part, but a primary part of what the Rebbe instructed us to do in that context. So we thought of the idea to create a large booklet. It turned out to be a little less than large, but that's because it was done at the last minute and had to be ready for the kinnis. But Saf Kol Saf, it was determined that perhaps this was also b'hashgacha pratis, because if it's too much, it can be overwhelming. If I remember correctly, there are about 35 entries at the moment. And we divided it into several segments, and I'm going to share the screen and pull it up and show you some, for those who haven't seen it. I'm sure by now, at least among the Minatzchim, everyone has seen it. But I don't know if you've seen the newer version of it, because it's been redone. This is the front page. It's been redesigned, and a run of 5,000 was published in honor of Kinnes HaShluchos, and then there's plans to make a larger fundraiser and publish 50,000 and get them out literally not only across Lubavitch but across the Frumme Welt, and to figure out a way by which shluchim are able to actually personalize it to their own Chabad house, and those who want to distribute it to their balabatim as well. So it has the introductory page, and then here it has the index that breaks it down. To Moshiach in your daily schedule is my favorite part, Pashut, because it demonstrates how to live with Moshiach in our daily lives. These are the routine things that we do day to day. It's part of our normal schedule. We each have to do them. Miktanam bad g'dolam, there's no difference there. Everyone has to wash their hands and everyone has to wash their face. Everyone has to daven, turn on lights and turn off lights. Everyone has to wake up. Everyone has to go to sleep. Mashiach, wherever you go, is also very gishmak in the sense that there are places that we go in the course of our day, the bank, the bakery, the park, wherever it might be. In every one of those places, we have a connection with Mashiach. Special occasions, it doesn't happen every day, but it's a big part of life. These are life's milestones, like, for example, birth and weddings and funerals and graduations, v'chadayme, bar mitzvah. And then this last part is the piece that's uniquely related to Lubavitch, but really Kol Ish Yisrael B'Shem Shliach Yechuna, so it has application across the world, which is how every one of the Rebbe's Miftzayim, really the ultimate goal of it is to bring Mashiach. And when you think about that, that's really the theme of all five, because every one of these is an Indian in Aveda Lamata. Every one of these is an Indian of Avedas Habidurim. But we know that Avedas Habidurim is Kvar Nigmar. And now Machin Suga puts the knaplach, and we have to apply everything in Chassidus about how Achila is Avedas Habidurim, and Tefillah is Avedas Habidurim, and Esek Masa Matan is Avedas Habidurim. And we have to apply that now into the bigger picture of Kabbalah's Pnei Moshiach, because the entire objective of Avedas Habidurim has always been Lahavi Liyamesa Mashiach. Only now we've reached that point. So now we have to shift our mindset and our focus when we're doing these things, whether it is the mitzvahs that we're doing, the mitzvahs that we're doing, or our day-to-day activities. We have to shift our mindset to we're doing them Lahavi Liyamesa Mashiach, not so much for birurim purposes, but for Mashiach purposes. Now, because we're talking Mashiach purposes, especially for those who are following the Tutal's campaign, if you looked at lesson 2 there, the one that was based on the Sicha Pashas Vayeshev, then we understand that once you're talking Mashiach, then there's no longer the gradation of Memali Kol Almin, where you have something holier if it's a mitzvah, something less holy if it's Masechol L'Shem Shamayim. But here we're talking about a Mashiach, the Yechida could be revealed in every area b'shava, which means that going to the bank and going to the shul equally could be an opportunity to reveal the Yechida Shebenefesh. So some of these things are more conducive. If you learn the Sichos, you see, especially if you're from Mitzayin to the bottom, you want to make a limud out of it, you could take a look at the Tziyunim on the bottom. The Maidani is a very difficult thing to capture in one paragraph, so I don't think I did such a great job. But I was trying to explain the concept that is very clearly explained in the Rebbe Sikha that is mentioned right here on the bottom. That the first moment before you wake up, before you take in any pratim of your day, that moment there's just Yisrael L'malka B'Chidei, Mizalein mit Nebershten, and that's the Yechida moment. And it gives itself expression in the first thoughts of our day. This the Rebbe says before the first thought. You woke up before you had conscious thought. And the first thought of the day is Yichud Elah. And the first word of the day gives expression to this notion of Ich mit Rebishter Alein. There's nothing else that exists right now. Meidani lefanecha. This is Moshiach. This is what our consciousness will be all day long when Moshiach comes. In other words, instead of thinking Meidani only in the conventional sense, as we learned in Kunter Sinyan Teres Achsidus, that this is the moment in our day that is Yechida, think of it as our Mashiach moment. This is a microcosm of how the entire world will be when Mashiach comes. There are inyanim that are very conducive to these things, like Netilas Yadayim. Netilas Yadayim is about removing tumah from the hands, and Mashiach is clearly Ruach HaTumah Aver Min Ha'aretz. This is a step towards what we're really actualizing. So it's not just that when we do this, we bring Mashiach closer. The big picture here is that Hayes, that Mashiach is coming, and Hayes, Ruach HaTumah, is currently being removed min ha'aretz. So we are giving it expression through the things we do. We're washing our hands and removing the tumah from our yadayim. By that, we are taking part, we are becoming part of the, swept up in the overall picture that Mashiach is coming and the Ruach HaTumah is being removed. Now, those are things where it's a little easier to relate to it, because after all, Mashiach is coming, Netilas Yadayim, it's a very clear connection. But getting dressed, so Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter gave us the Eir HaChsidus, and in Eir HaChsidus is very clear, the idea of Kosnas Eir Mitan Ayin and Kosnas Eir Mitan Aleph from Reb Meir Sefer Torah. And in the Drushim of the Tzemach Tzedek, it says very, very clearly that that when we get dressed with Kosnas Eir, and Eir represents the state of mind that Adam and Chava were in after Eitz Hadas, the state of mind of our mumiyos, that the objective is to transform them into Kosmos Er Mitan Aleph. So what does it take when you're pulling on your shirt to think that I'm now putting on a garment that on the surface is a hester of a helam, but the point is that it should become a channel for Ur. Now, one of my favorite ones is the one b'negeya to turning on the lights, turning off the lights, because it's a very regular thing. It's a conventional thing. It's a mundane thing. We all do it, especially this time of year where it gets dark early in this hemisphere. We turn on the lights at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You go to sleep whenever it is, in your children's bedroom at 7:30, in your own bedroom at 11:30, whatever it is, you turn off the lights. In Chassidus, there's a big inyan about Cheshach. What is Cheshach? But at Klal, we say Cheshach doesn't have a metzias. As it says in Perek Yud Beis in Tanya, that a person has feikus and amuna that doesn't have a real metzias. It's just that the Eibishter gave the Sitra Achara Rishus that it should be able to be Ma'alim Master for a little bit. So all you need to do is geyer, scream a little bit at your Sitra Achara to how long will you Vestamir behalten the mamis, and it goes away. Cheshach doesn't have any metzias for itself, and that's turning on the lights. It gets dark in the home. It's dark in the world. So it's finster auf der Welt. Hagam Mashiach is mamish atat, but he's not here yet. It's finster auf der Welt. You turn on the light that mitamal vet lichtig. And that's exactly what's happening as Moshiach is coming. I mean, we're now in Parshas Mishpatim Nun Beis, that Rebbe pretty much shows us Moshiach is on the way, so therefore the world is behaving in such a way. So when I'm turning on the light, my mind shift changes. It's not pshat that the world is a world of darkness and I have to fight and turn on the light. No. The world is behaving in a way where darkness is being flooded with light. And I'm part of it. As I reach out to flip the switch and turn on the light, I'm being part of that big picture. So if that's the case, why do I turn off the light? Right? So I'm going to get to why I go to sleep. So the Rebbe explains it beautifully that the only way that we can have an aliyah be'ein areich is if we have an end to the first aliyah, and then there is a yerida, a time of shina, then you wake up, you can have the next morning an aliyah bein arech. Otherwise, it's one long continuum, and there is no aliyah bein arech. There's no dilug, there's no kfitza, there's just continual, gradual aliyah. So why do I turn off the lights? So the emes is that Chassidus also brings a shita that cheshech has a big mitzias. And adarabah, its mitzias is kadam la'od, right? Vayi erev vayi baker. That cheshech is kadam la'od, and that the cheshech represents be'emes the kind of that is greater than the kind of gili that is greater than anything we could see. And in fact, even the ma'ar shalamayla me'er, and dafka in the cheshech you can find that. So you turn off the lights. It's something you're going to do anyway. When Moshiach will come, there'll be a gili of atzmus umahus. And that point is not going to be limited to gili. As the Rebbe explains in Likutei Sichos Chelekei, I think it's Parshas Vayigash, that if you want to see the true elikus of the true yechelis of atzmus, it's not limited to gili. You'll find it in Helen. That's where you're going to find atzmus truly being revealed. So turn off the lights and recognize this is what's happening now. Moshiach is coming. Atzmus Malus is being revealed. At the moment, it looks like Cheshech, but in the Cheshech, we're going to find the Etzem Mamish, that Laila Kayem Yair. That's Vahavaya Yagia Chashki. So this is the Shnit. This is the idea. If we go down a little bit further, Moshiach, wherever you go, there's some very obvious ones. The Kolam Adana Mitzuyim Kafir, you go into a bank, the place is flooded with money. It's nothing compared to what will be when Moshiach comes. You go into a hospital, a doctor's office, these things, they're just on the way to being phased out. Mashiach is coming. Any one of these things, it's mamish to lecken with the finger, because it brings every single one of our activities, our mundane activities of the day. Pashet lahavi limesa Mashiach. You take your children Sunday afternoon to the park, vestamitamol, a chelik of what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. You're going to go down to the ocean for a stroll. It's going to be part of, you're going to fly somewhere, you're going to go whatever the purpose is, you're going to the Rebbe for Chav Shvat, you're flying, it's part of Mashiach. Azay gate is mamish every single part of your day, every single part of your life. There's a second for Shabbos and Yom Tov. Birth is pretty obvious. Ben David Ba, you just took a major step forward to the coming of Mashiach. And azay weiter till you come to the Indian of Miftzayim, and that is what I wanted to share with you about the overall picture that I was hoping to convey with Lahavili Mesa Mashiach. Mashiach is coming. It's really very timely because it's Mishpatim this week, and this is the theme of the Rebbe Sicha of Mishpatim, and it's also part of the Tutals campaign. So Mashiach is coming. The Welt behaves in a way that Mashiach comes. I'm part of this Welt, so I too behave in a way that the world will be when Mashiach comes. Till now, I thought that these were just called Maaseh Echad, just it has to be done, L'Shem Shamayim. Now I come to realize, Nishkestegen, Nishkeflegen, there's no Maaseh Echad, and there's no L'Shem Shamayim, it's Al Tzein Zach. Atzmus Mahus and Welt is Al Tzein Zach. Every single aspect of life and every single part of the world is a Keli for the Eibishter himself. I want to take this opportunity to explain something that I threw out once on the WhatsApp group, and people asked, and it wasn't Eini Toisa Biyadi. I didn't have a chance to respond, and it's negaya somewhat to this too. So I think it's worthwhile throwing it out there and explaining. There was a discussion at one point on the WhatsApp group. Hayitachin that Mashiach is coming, Mahalchim Mamish Bashleimus, the Kneplach Sanishing geputzt, and yet we find that every one of us in our own life, and so I explained that there are two cheshbenis. There's the cheshben prati and the cheshben klali. And someone posted questions, Hayitachin, how can you say that? In Tanya, it says very clearly that when we all are able to complete our personal, when we're all able to be kafya our own sitra achara, then there'll be the kafya of sitra achara kloli, and the Mashiach will come. So I think the whole confusion is based sometimes on a lack of pashat yediyah, and we translate things in a very simple way when be'emes it means something much more complex. I know Bechlal, when the Rebbe responded to questions in Ha'adas, the Rebbe would very often say that the question is based on a Cheser Yediyah. So when we talk about why a neshama comes to this world, every neshama comes to this world to be misakin something. Why does the neshama atzma ina tzricha tikkun? But the emes is we're each a nitzutz from a bigger neshama. The Alter Rebbe mentions this in Tanya, and that is, of course, the whole theme of Shara Gilgulim. So we're each a nitzutz of a bigger neshama. And there are 600,000 neshamas. There's one big neshama klalis of Adam Arishan. It's nechlak into 600,000 neshamas, which itself are nechlak into shishim riba neshamas, which itself is nechlak into shishim riba neshamas. And each one of us is a nitzutz from those neshamas. And the neshama needs to be nistaken. Adam Arishan, during the Chet Arishan, he created a major pgam, and ever since we're trying to be misakin. And lav dafka, every lifetime is misakin. Sometimes a person lives an entire life and he ends up worse off than he was before. When we say that the birudim, the reish peiches birudim in the Welt is nisbarer geworden, and all the pegamim are kvar nistaknu, we're talking about a cheshbon klali. Because it could be, in ayayim yayim, es kommt a neshama kommt auf der Welt, lebt 70, 80 Jahre, and his whole purpose is to do one teva for a yid. So what's with the rest of his life? Could it be that he does this one teva and he fulfills his tachlis and the rest of the life he's a rasha? There are two cheshbenis. There's what I'm going to do in my life. That's my cheshben prati. Then there's the cheshben klali. The neshama klalis needed this teva to be done for its tikkun and to be misakin a pgam. And you come and you fulfill that piece, you did your part. That doesn't take away from the fact that the rest of your life, you're still responsible. That's your cheshben prati. When the Rebbe says that we have a cheshben klali, and that cheshben klali was fulfilled, it's completed. When the Kneplach Zanishin Tzuga puts, that's a cheshben klali of ha'olam kulei, ha'olam umloyai. Each of us has a cheshben prati, but that doesn't stop the fact that Moshiach is coming. Volt Moshiach gewahrt, va jeder eine von uns zu werden a Baal Tshuva, kann schon warten mehr wie 6,000 Jahre. That's going to be a long time in coming. But what the Rebbe needs from us today, yeah, for sure, it doesn't change the fact that each one of us has to continue doing Taryag mitzvahs, and we have to continue davening ba'aveda and learn Chassidus every day. That's for our cheshbon prati. But what the Rebbe needs from us now that the Avedas HaBirudim is complete, the Rebbe needs from us to live with Moshiach. He needs l'kabel pnei Moshiach tzidkenu. And we need to do this, and we need to allow it to complete to permeate our entire life. Every aspect of life has to be a part of this. Because the emes is, if any aspect of my life is not part of Kabbalah's Pnei Mashiach, then in the cheshbon klali felt. The cheshbon prati is my own cheshbon, habe ich zu tun mit Nebershn for them. But that's not going to slow down Bias HaMashiach, according to what the Rebbe says. That's my understanding, Al Kapanim. So when it says in Tanya that every person, when he accomplishes the Akafi Sitra Achra by himself, that is also contributing to the Sitra Achra Klali, that's part of the Cheshbon Klali. Is Lav Davka part of our Cheshbon Prati. Just like it was B'Yetzias Mitzrayim, that there was still the Ra Hoya B'Takvay, and nevertheless it didn't stop the Geula Kibarach Ha'am. Hagam, that when Mashiach will come, it'll be different. Alter Rebbe says it very clearly in Tanya. B'Menusa Telechu, right? Lebichi pausing, B'Menusa Telechu, and we'll be kalim for this. But we'll be kalim mitzad the cheshbon klali. Mitzad our cheshbon prati is a different cheshbon. Taki, each of us, as I said, are responsible for our cheshbon prati. When Mashiach comes, it'll be very embarrassing as a geta grubbe keli to Mashiach. But nevertheless, despite our own grubkeit, that's not holding up the coming of Mashiach. So Mamela, there's no stira that a person is living every moment, everything we do, we're thinking of it as part of Kabbalah's Pnei Mashiach. Hayes Mashiach is coming. B'meila, I'm behaving in a Mashiach Tekeifen. That's called l'kabel, to welcome him, to greet him. I'm behaving in a way that is consistent with the way I will behave when he shows up. Hayes, he's showing up, so I'm already preparing that kind of behavior. And the fact that I am still a grubbe mensch, that's not going to hold up Mashiach's coming. That's not going to hold up Mashiach's coming. And as it happens, Bashkacha Pratis, yesterday morning I was learning a Sikha, and last night at a Fabrengen, Mendy Majeski brings up the same Sikha. And so it's a powerful Sikha, and I'm going to share it because it's very, very thematic for the Minatzchim. We have what now, 18 people on? I can't see exactly how many people there. 19 people are on.
20. Mendy Majeski just joined. You mentioned his name and he got on.
As soon as I mentioned his name, he's gone.
No, he got on. He got on. He joined us.
Okay. So how are we going to change the world? The Rebbe once said, according to Rabbi Folgeman, Alav Shalom, Herschel Folgeman, that mit Mesibe Shabbos at Menainem in the Welt. Mesibe Shabbos, a few Chassidim were sitting in 770 and Menainem in the Welt. And Taka angenommen in the Welt, because Mesibe Shabbos is the beginning of Merkez Linyan Chinuch. So there's this powerful sikha, it's Achan Shal Pesach Tavshin Chafei, where the Rebbe explains what we just read 2 weeks ago in Rashi, that Echad Mechamisha, 1 out of 5 left Mitzrayim, and the other 5 were buried. So that's Rashi. But the Rebbe said in Mechilta, Daf Nishler Nazeb Chat. By the way, the same medrash is also in Yalkut Shemini, Mamish Vart Bavart. If you look in the Mechilta, you'll see that there are 3 shittas. One is that 1 in 5 Yidden, one is that 1 in 50 Yidden, and one is that 1 in 500 Yidden left Mitzrayim. Then there's a separate shitta, the shitta of Rabbi Nehirahi, and he says, what are you talking about? 1 in 500? Not shaykh. There were Shisha B'Kedas Echad. There's Revava Kitzamech Hasada. Pashat, there were millions, and only 600,000 left. Most of the Yidden died in Makas Cheshach. That's Shittas Rabbi Nehirahi. Rashi brings the 2 together. The first 3 shittas didn't say that they died in Makas Cheshach. Rashi brings the 2 together. Mitzvah Shita Shal Mikra, that's Rashi's Indian. The Rebbe doesn't explain why Rashi brings them together. But if you look at the Mechilta itself, you have 3 shittas. 1 in 5 Yidden left, 1 in 50 Yidden left, 1 in 500 Yidden left. Says the Rebbe, what's the point of having such thoughts bichlal? First of all, what's Rebbe B'Gnusan Shal Yisrael? The 4 Yidden didn't make it out of Mitzrayim, they stayed behind, or 499 Yidden stayed behind. But what's Rebbe B'Gnusan Shal Yisrael? Secondly, why is this an argument in Metzias? How many people left? I mean, what kind of argument is this? Well, why are they arguing? Says the Rebbe, the Yema says it's not Nusan Shal Yisrael, it's Shvachon Shal Yisrael. And this is not an argument. All 3 are correct. And it happened like this. L'chatchila, when Moshe Rabbeinu came and said, Pocket Pakadati, 1 in 500 Yidden got excited about the Geula and totally wanted to go out with that takeif. And the other 499 laughed at him. This was Tavshin Chafei, when the Rebbe was saying in that Sikha, that hat sich gemacht as Seder as a hot parnas. Again, hat sich gemacht as Seder as wird schreiben as Sefer, and he'll become famous. Hat as Seder, was that Eiveshe bringen Moshiach und sterben meine Starim. 499 Yidden says, we're organizing in Mitzrayim, we're good. 1 Yid said, no, not going to be enough, right? So what's the cheshbon? 1 in 5, 1 in 50, 1 in 500? The cheshbon says the Rebbe is like this. The one person who believed with the takeif wasn't expelled from the mayim karim that the other people poured on his head, and he continued with the takeif, and he had a hashpah on 4 people around him. So from 1 became 5. These 5 continued with the takeif, so they had a hashpah on 45 people around them. Again, each one on 5 more. So Ebazeh from 5 becomes 50. These 50 continued with the takeif, and then it spread out 500 people. Kumtui, says the Rebbe, according to these 3 shittas, not pshat that 1 out of 50, 1 out of 500 came out of Mitzrayim. All 500 came out of Mitzrayim. 600,000 Yidden were in Mitzrayim, 600,000 Yidden came out of Mitzrayim. How did it happen? Because 1 out of 5, 1 out of 50, 1 out of 500. 1 out of 500 had to take it. So if you have 20 Minatzchim with a tkifis, kumtuis, that it will spread throughout the entire world. And let's not wait too long to make it happen. And may it be Bekarik Mamish.
Well, man, I was mentioning this to Rabbi Rubenfeld a year ago, and now I have a source. Yashikar for bringing this up.
Thank you. Can we make a mini laser pop out of the booklet so that you can explain the pieces when people watch it? People open up the book.
Yeah, the one out of
Come on, with all the technology today.
Yashikar. I could not find it. Now where to look.
I'm surprised that this sikha wasn't muga and that it's not more commonly known, but yeah.
Because the Misnagdim love this thing. That 500, 1 out of every 500 came out. It makes me feel good that he.
But I want you to stop and realize what's happening here. We're talking about Tavshin Chafei, the Rebbe Alein Shreit. The Rebbe Shreit Alein, even the Lubavitchers, Kamas Mishreit mit them.
But the Rebbe,
we were all screaming and we were all saying, yeah. And today, they got from a Weltschreit.
Yeah.
I am Merfield. Lazer, if I may make a suggestion, I think that Ruben just said it, but maybe you record a 5-10 minute little piece on each one of those entries with the explanation that you give, and have it on all the so-called Chabad websites. I think it would be a beautiful thing together with a booklet. You give a 5-minute synopsis what's behind this particular thing, as you did so beautifully now, as gemacht but it was beautiful to listen. I mean,
No, because I think that if we...
It's beautiful what's behind each one, the way you bring it out, a 5-minute little piece, 5-10 minutes maximum, that I'm sure that the websites will be happy to do it, introducing the living with Moshiach.
And we could do a good...
You have it right on the tip of your finger.
Good idea.
Record it.
No, it'll bring Pearson. We'll make a press release about the booklet, and we'll start it with one of them. You'll do the first one, Moidani, and then you'll like this. We'll keep it on. We can keep on releasing it once a week, so it'll keep on the websites. It'll keep on COL. It'll keep on whatever on anash.org. So it will keep people engaged. I think it's very, very good idea.
I think it's not just about promoting the booklet. I think it's about starting doing it.
Well, the first place to put it is right on the Minatzchim website where the booklet is available.
In our own lives, I think that would be a very powerful, simple, and I can't see why any one of those websites will not want it. They're looking for material, and it's a new angle, it's a different approach, and it should be very, very enticing for them to want to promote it. So,
all right,
we just got you another job. That's all.
As I get this with that call.
The Rebbe can I share something? The Rebbe says that if, I just saw this today, if we're aware of the experiences of what's going to be an Elef Hashvi, is the avoid the Sheshanim Yavoid is a sach kishmakid and a sach freilichen. So this is already a shaykhis to the kishmak avoid.
I heard from his father, Shuid Bossi, but his father, when they say, thank you, Mizon Yashakoya. His father is on Chazaku Baruch. Yeah? Chazak for what you did, or Baruch for what you're going to do.
That's Taka Emes, by the way. That's what Yasher Koyach really means.
Yeah.
Yasher Koyach doesn't mean that you had Koyach before, you did a good job. That's what everyone thinks. Yasher Koyach means Koyach to Tanach. So it's very typical in an organization when one person steps up to volunteer, everyone else sits back and says, okay, good, someone's doing the job. It's exactly what Yasher Koyach means. You are a chazan, the whole Olam says to Yasher Koyach, so to sein chazan morgen nechet.
But in this case, Lazer, nobody can do it as good as you. So,
all right. I think I have to run back to work, but I also think that if I stay on, I'm going to get even more work. So Zaygas on everyone. Enjoy the Fabrengen. I'm sorry I have to run. I mamish don't have much more time. And Und Tag gesehen, Moshiach kommt jetzt.
You heard what Zusha said, Lazer. You heard what Zusha said. He said Yashakayach.
This is the last minute thing that you're coming on. I would have known. I would have been at Achanis. I just grabbed the phone. It was really nice. Thank you.
And we want to thank Shmuley Litvin for organizing. And Shmuley also put on. He said Minatzchim.com living-Moshiach. It's in the chat. You can go see it.
Also, if Shmuley Litvin is here, and even if he's not, we should notify him about Shmuley. We need to get a document, just like you made a document for people to sign for the PAN. By the way, I'd like to know if that PAN was sent already. That's number one. Number two, we need a document so that people who are mishtatif can put their addresses. And Shlomi Rutner is planning, let's say in the end of the week, let's give people a little time so that he can ship out the booklets. So
I have everyone's email that submitted the PAN. I could send them an email to get it.
Okay. I don't know. Could be.
No, everyone that voted on the PAN wrote their email.
But maybe not everybody put in the PAN. So I think we should give a reminder.
I also want to share with you that Bashgacha Pratis, I was yesterday by the Rebbe at the Oyer, and I decided, I don't know if anybody else did it already, didn't do it. I took along one of the booklets, I gave it to the Rebbe, and I said, Hashem the Minatzchim, that this is what we did. And I said, it's not, I said, Hashem the Minatzchim, not personally. So I want to share this with everyone.
Talking about having.
I'm sorry, I didn't come on to the Fabrenga last night. I fell asleep at Krishma Shalamita, and I woke up at Krishma Shachis. So sorry, I pushed stuff. I was traveling yesterday, so I'm sorry. I guess I missed a good Fabrenga.
What's the next step? What are we doing next?
Chavre, here's the thing. Oh, no, so I think the booklet, we need to now, we had such success with launching it, but we need to really figure out, it would be a real shame. It would be a real shame to what's it called again? It would be a real shame to not, take it to its full potential. So I think we really should put our minds together a little bit, and over the next 2-3 meetings to figure out a way of major distribution. Obviously, we'll need to get a sponsor because we have to do a much larger printing. But this should be. Now I know we have some ideas. We have some ideas about tweaking the booklets to fit different communities. But that's already stage 2 and stage 3. As it is right now, it is perfect for every Lubavitcher. And if it's perfect for every Lubavitcher, we should get it out literally everywhere. I think the idea of having Lazer do a little video and do a press release and get it on COL and that people can actually either download the booklet they didn't want to download, or the same thing that booklet that Shmuley created online. It would be really good if we make it available on COL. So, and then people also have to be ready that people who order will maybe people pay for already orders that they're making in advance will have money to do a second print. So we have to think about that. But someone needs to go. Let's put it this way: someone, 2-3 chevra on the Minatzchim have to take charge of that project. So I'm putting it out there. And I think it should be, we have a broad group. I think we can have chevra that can take it. Any thoughts?
I can write the press release, and but again, like I usually have, is I want somebody to take a look and review it, and fine tune it, and make it the way it could be or should be. But I'll definitely put something down on paper to start the ball rolling.
We also want to thank Nassen for your wife. Give her a big yasher koach for her what do you call it? Being a trooper and getting it out. Anyway, so yeah, Hashem. This is good.
It needs 1 or 2 or 3 young light to take this project and run with it. Otherwise, we will just talk about it every Monday and continue talking about it. But it needs somebody to take a chayes and run with it, and because this could go very far. By the way, we still have all the other languages that we didn't even start touching it. Some languages are ready to go to the typesetter for him to run in the languages, French and Spanish that I know of. They're both ready to go. I don't know what's happening with the other ones.
The Russians also ready to go.
I can speak with the Spanish country, Argentina, ask them maybe they want to publish it and they want to take it. I can try to do that. I'm not sure who to contact in Europe, in France, but they publish it over there in French. Maybe I have an idea. Okay, you know what? I'll try to contact someone, 1 or 2 people, and get a good feel who would be willing to get it published over there and move and run with it. But
Microsoft.
Actually, which one? There are a lot of Microsofts.
One who was involved with us.
Are you talking Tanchum? Actually, yeah. I know. I was thinking about somebody who is into publishing in Paris. Somebody who publishes a lot of books. Either Chaim Nissenbaum, Melul, or Mendel Asimov. Speak to them. They should have.
Microsoft in the Lishka.
That's it. Yeah, the question is going to be Lishka, Beslabavich. So we have to see how to go around that, or over that, or with that, to be seen.
I think Reuben's a good person to speak to.
What?
I'm saying I think Reuben Matasov is.
Yeah, he might be one of them. Yes, he might be one of them. he might be one of them. So Blina, I'm gonna Blina to reach out to them as far as French, and I'm gonna reach out to Spanish in Argentina. That I could easily reach out there and find out if they would be willing to take it on and have it published in us. And obviously, if whoever is in charge of Russian, just a matter of speaking to Rabbi Lazer or whoever is his publishing house over there, and try to get it done over there. Unless we want to do it in Ukraine. Besides more expansion, Baruch Hashem.
Regarding kids, most kids.
By the way, Shlomi is on. So big yashikayach for Shlomi for helping us out big time.
Yes.
That was very special. Shkoyach.
No problem. Regarding kids, I'm saying that because kids today mostly don't have the patience to read, I was thinking that if you're going to do a video, there's a guy called Meir Kalmanson. He's a Lubavitch Bacher. That's an older guy. He has a lot of experience doing funny, like a very attractive, entertaining video. He can make something that would get kids excited about living Moshiach. You know, he could probably figure out a way how to be very creative and do something to take the messages from your booklet and put it into a video for kids and teenagers.
Brilliant idea. It's a beautiful idea. So Shlomi, can you take it to this individual? Discuss it with him?
Maybe he would give a count because it's maybe he feels right. Say maybe he would even make a discount on his usual fees because if it's something he feels that it's Shas Kosher and it's very important. I'm saying maybe he'll.
Does anybody know what his usual fees are? How much he would charge for such a thing?
I don't know, but he's pretty up there. Like he's very popular amongst the famous singers are using him. But if we have someone with a connection that knows the family or knows him, I know him, but I tried once to get him to do something for camp. It didn't work out, but I'm saying I think if the right person asks him, and he gets excited about the idea, then maybe he'd definitely be the best person to use. No question about it.
Now, let me ask you. There is always on those websites something, a kid's parsha, things like that. Who does that? That would be the people. And how do they make money on it? How do they it for free? I don't know. Occasionally, when you go onto these sites, I see there's always something there for kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Parsha of the week.
We can connect. What's his name? How about if we would connect to Shimi Weinbaum and see if we can get somehow Tzivus Hashem to get onto this kind of a thing, how to live Moshiach to get out in Yanim, So that might also be another.
That's true.
Actually, they just put out a beautiful video. You didn't see about Moshiach?
I didn't see it. What's it called?
I don't know what it's called. They were sending it around. I have to go find it.
So we need to get 3 people to sign up for the project to be on top of the Living Moshiach booklet, and I am not going to be one of those 3. So
I can be one of them. I can be one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I think it would be appropriate because you were the germinator of it. So
hold on before.
But we need. I'm saying no. We need if someone. I think me and everybody else could be helpful, but there has to be some people who take achrayus to move it from step to step. So there should be, where you guys meet and whatever, discuss and come up with certain whatever this will be done, and then we can take it to the rest, and we'll be mishtatev in whichever ways we can be mishtatev. But
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to be one of the 3. I will be able to speak to Argentina. I will be able to find out in France. As far as Tzivus Hashem, I have to speak to Sean Ben Baumgarten this afternoon anyway. He's waiting for my call for something else. So maybe I can discuss this with him, bring it up to him if you think that.
But we should organize in our thoughts what is step 1, what's step 2. Now we have already a product, and we should make this go as far as we can. Obviously, when I say we have it, we don't have the physical booklets because we only have 5,000 of them and 2,000 has already been probably used. So we have 3,000 of them and those are going to be sent to Shluchim either. So, but we still have something that's right now available as is in stuff game. You know, we have to get 100,000 copies out to all Anash communities.
So this is where Aaron said he's going to have his committee.
Yes.
He'll find some people with him, and he'll fly with it.
Yeah.
This Mayor Talmanson, whose son is he?
It's Mendy Collinson's son. Mendy Collins.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure.
Here's my little, you know, we're talking on the booklet on living with a higher content. The last week I'm busy with a Narishkeit. The last 2 weeks, my car or whatever, one of my minivans kept on giving me trouble. And what happened was the alarm was setting off. The alarm was setting off every time I opened the car and I couldn't shut it. So in the end, I had to take it to this place and they disconnected the alarm. But then it was also flashing lights and then my battery was draining. I just took it last week into the guy and he told me that I have to take it to an electrician to find out that there's some kind of thing that's draining, some kind of a connection to wiring that they made that's draining the battery when the car is off. And as a result of that, I said, so what should I do? He said, first you go to an electrician, but until then, he says, disconnect the battery every time you shut the car, you're leaving it for a few hours, you know, open the hood, take off the positive charge or the negative charge. You show he loosened the wire, just have to flip it off and then put it back on so it's not draining the battery. So just now in the morning, I'm thinking to myself, let's make this bavoid, let's make this a. And the thought was, as the engine is the nefesh elikis. That's the Alter Rebbe says the chayes from Ayid comes from the neshama. The battery, the pashtus, is the brute power. So the battery is not the mania. The battery is the nefesh bahamas. Now, as long as the nefesh bahamas and the nefesh elikis are rightfully connected, that's working. There's no external drainage taking place. That when the nefesh elikis is shut down, no one else is draining energy from the nefesh bahamas. Is the good. It's supposed to be that they work in synthesis. But if the nefesh bahamas has some kind of an electrical outlet, when the nefesh elikis is not being mania, but the nefesh bahamas is good, then what happens is when you want to use your energy for the right thing, you don't have the chayes because you've drained it already, and you're draining it into whatever is not exactly the way it should be. So you have to make sure to keep the battery connected without any external leaks of it going into other yams. That was my musar for today. This was my thought. I don't know. When I was getting onto Minatzchim today, I was puzzled.
No, I'm talking about you're holding a baby there.
Oh, this is my anacle. This is my anacle.
Looks good. Looks good.
Baruch Hashem, my other anacle is to give a Baruch Hashem. Everybody should have say l'chaim. And wishing a full shalom to my anacle, Yitzchak Ben Zissel. He was yesterday was in the ICU, a 4-year-old boy, because COVID related. It's special. It's this kind of virus that's seemed to be hitting children that had COVID, and that basically is an inflammation that can inflame all the organs. It's very scary. Baruch Hashem, they took him off from the ICU and they put him into a regular room now, and he's able to. And Baruch Hashem, things are stabilizing. So the Zayde is taking care of the Eneklach today.
But looking good at it. It's good to know.
Oh, this is my favorite.
Do you have a discount charge from Minatzchim?
He wants to be interested. He's turning around. He or she.
Yeah, she's Freilich.
No, now you have another Menatziach.
She is divider.
That's it. I just, I'd like to share a beautiful story, which I got it on maybe everybody saw it. It's on one of the WhatsApps from the Kines of Shluchim, I think, in Eretz Yisrael. A young man related a powerful story. It struck me that it was this 10-year-old boy from a broken home, unfortunately. And Yom Kippur, he's going to shul. can't find a seat. So he decided, you heard the story?
I heard it from him. Someone sent me that his speech.
I think it's amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful concept, a beautiful story. And
Zog.
so Yom Kippur morning, he figured, what am I going to be standing a whole day? He decided I'd be Metuti 770. Come a few hours earlier and you grab a space. No, but he sees that all the seats have a name attached to it. Till finally he found in the back of the shul a few plastic chairs. There's no name. There's no name on that chair. Oh, fine. So he has a chair. Mamish 770. There's no name to it. And you hope you're sitting there for 5 hours before the Fabrengen. And then comes the last minute before the Fabrengen, somebody walks in and says, "It's my place. I'll be sitting here for five hours. Yeah, you're being gegangen essen Shalom Shabbos. But now it's my place and you have to move." I said to say the Akitza, he Baruch Hashem found the space and he's holding on it for dear life, and this davening is starting and nobody has a place. Till eventually a guy walks in and it says, "Yelet, Zamakom Shalizuz." So this kid is devastated. But I'm not going to go through the whole conversation between the child and this adult. The bottom line is that the whole Yom Kippur, this lost kid whose father is not in his life, and is quite disappointed. And it turns out to the Eibishter, the Bnei Shalom, is there no place for a child like me in shul. Nobody here that cares about me. And he's pitied down. Check. At home, the situation is not much better. His mother, who runs alone the home, is going through a rough time. And somehow she decided to send a letter to the Rebbe about her tzoros. He never shared this Yom Kippur experience with his mother. He didn't want to add any more burden on her difficult journey. Anyway, she writes a letter to the Rebbe about her tzoros. She gets a response to check the mezuzahs. She gets the mezuzahs checked, and most of them are no good, but one of them is really a winner. And the mezuzah, the Shin Dalet Yud, the Yud was missing. Anyway, family got together, they helped to buy new mezuzahs, they put mezuzahs up, and Baruch Hashem, things turned around and things became better. Decided she has to go say thank you to the Rebbe. Some people still know that they have to say thank you to the Rebbe. Not only Rebbe have, but some people also know that we have to go say thank you. So she decided, together with the family, she's flying to the Rebbe simply to say thank you. She happens to arrive Kinnis Shluchim Tavshin Nun Aleph. She's standing in line, $1, and the Rebbe gives her $1. And she asks a bracha avur mishpacha, for family. And the Rebbe gives her $1 for self bracha, batzlacha for the family. And as she's leaving, the Rebbe gives her another $1 v'zeh b'shvil haben. She has no idea what this is all about. Anyway, eventually she found out, she came home and she asked, she found out what the story with this Ben is. So the young man says, it happened to me as a shliach today. As this happened to me. And he brought out a beautiful point. He says, could be there is no seat in this huge shul, there is no place for a little boy. But in the Rebbe's heart, there's a place for every little boy. When I was listening to it, he really laid it on well. But if you think about it, that's exactly what Chov Shvat is. This is what we're here for. We're here for every single Jew. And in Rebbe's hearts, in the Rebbe's hearts, it's dort Platz für jeden Jiddisch Kind. It's dort Platz für jede Minen. So, and I think this is what the Rebbe is expecting from us. There should be place for every single Jew in our hearts. In our Makam HaShlichus, we should not look just for the big numbers. We should know it's about the one Jew. It's about the Vatem to look to the Echad Echad. The one single Jew, the one single mitzvah, the one single pu'ula, the one single booklet that we give out. It doesn't mean we shouldn't give out more, but it's about the Yechida. Anyway, just a story which I felt deserves to be shared.
So as Hachanat Yudalf Nissen, what are we? This is the Reuven. Where are we taking this?
Hashem, we're going to
We're
take
not
it.
there, hard.
Another thing that should be added when checking mezuzahs, it's also important for the placement, where it is placed.
Yeah,
In
that's
the
all
top
part of
third.
check mezuzahs. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. So, Aaron, you have your job cut out. Remind me, you'll be on my case to find out about the other things, about the French and English.